Welcome to episode 3 of my 100 favorite movies of all time. This is numbers 50 through 26. At number 50 is Mean Girls. This is one of those ones that's so quotable and so rewatchable, and I think for everyone who's seen it, it becomes at least part of their personality. It's just hard to let go of this one. Something I'd like to point out while we're talking about Mean Girls. Regina George is framed as the villain of this movie, but I maintain the real villain is Coach Carr. At number 49 is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. A lot of people who love this movie would have it a lot higher, so they're all yelling at me right now. But there are things I have loved longer than this on here. The cast in this is just staggeringly assembled. I think I've mentioned before that cast is usually my main way of choosing what movies I want to see. So with this one, it was an easy sell. Plus, everybody I knew who saw it when it first came out was just glowing about it, so I had to watch it. At number 48 is To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, which is the second longest title on my entire list, I believe. There's not much I can say about this that hasn't already been said, but the three leads are just fantastic. To take three actors known for macho-type roles and make them drag queens was absolute genius. And Stockard Channing, I love her. I've loved her since I saw Grease when I was like 7. Next is The Cable Guy, which I love. I think when this came out, nobody really knew what to do with it, because Jim Carrey was known for, physical over-the-top comedy at that point, and this was just darker, and people just didn't know how to handle that. I think Jim Carrey's great here, Matthew Broderick, Leslie Mann. That's even a little scene with Owen Wilson. And the little side plot with the twin actor murder trial that's going on is hilarious. At 46, we have Reality Bites, another film directed by Ben Stiller. Everything I wanted to say about this one, I think I already covered in my top 10 of the 90s video, but again, it's a great cast, and that is the number one thing I look for in movies that I'm going to end up loving, so there you go. Next up is Best in Show, a Christopher Guest mockumentary about dog shows and the very unique people who participate in them. If I remember correctly, this is the first time I ever saw Jane Lynch in anything, so that's kind of cool. It was written by Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy, and you can kind of see both of their styles of humor mixed in there. Next up, this is kind of a coincidence, but I thought it was so funny that I left it like this. Next up is Lady and the Tramp, another dog movie. I loved this movie when I was a kid. We had a tape where my mom was one of those people who liked to put as many movies as she could on a tape. And I tried over the years to explain to her that the quality's better if you make it shorter. But she would always choose like the 6-hour mode, or they came out with those 8-hour tapes eventually. Yeah. But anyway, we had one that had An American Tail, The Wizard of Oz, I think, and Lady and the Tramp. And so we just watched that tape to death. So I saw all of those movies repeatedly. Also, I love Peggy Lee, and she is heavily involved in this. She plays several characters. She sings several songs. I recently found this cool edition of, it's like a hardcover book, and it literally has a storybook in the front, and then in the back it has the Blu-ray and the DVD. Now, next up, we have one that I had actually taken off of my top 100 list because somewhere along the line I decided it needed to be movies I own on physical media. And I didn't have this one yet on physical media, but I do now, so it's back in. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? This is Spencer Tracy's last film, and the speech he gives at the end, you can see Katharine Hepburn's face that there's some real emotion going on there, because I think they knew that his time was short. But Sidney Poitier is just fantastic here. His three most iconic films all came out in 1967. So he had a really good year. Next up is School Ties, which is kind of the first movie where Brendan Fraser got to really stretch his drama muscles. And he's just fantastic here. And it's a stacked cast. This has Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Chris O'Donnell. It just goes on and on. There's a great supporting cast in this movie. For number 41, I have Adventures in Babysitting. I'm sounding like a broken record here, but this is another one we had recorded on a VHS with multiple movies on it. And I rewatched the heck out of all of those tapes we had. Coming in at number 40 is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I was so into this movie. It's one that we actually bought the VHS of it. This was a groundbreaking film. Animation and live action had been done before, like in Anchors Away with Jerry the Mouse dancing with Gene Kelly. And there's a couple sequences in Mary Poppins with the penguins and stuff. But the entire movie is a blend of live action and animation. And it was just absolutely stunning. And the effects still hold up, which is fantastic. For number 39, we have Misery. Some of these are sounding familiar to you because they've made my decades countdowns. But this one was in my 90s. Misery is just a stunning combination of a Stephen King story and a Rob Reiner direction, and two brilliant actors as the leads, Kathy Bates and James Caan. For number 38, we have Halloween, and I decided to use this very cool collector's edition I recently scored to represent it. This is a limited edition, it's numbered and everything. This has the theatrical version and the television version they put out as a promotional thing when Halloween 2 was going to be coming out. It has extra scenes that sort of bridge the gap between the two movies. And I actually haven't watched that yet, but I've heard it's very interesting. And it's rare to find it, so I was very lucky. I saw this going for crazy money on eBay. But there was a seller on Amazon who wasn't as greedy, and I scored this for, I think it was $20. I kind of felt bad about it, like, do they not know how much this is going for elsewhere? But it's mine. Next up is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, which just edged out To Wong Foo for the longest movie title on this list. I was skeptical when I heard about this movie coming out because Pirates of the Caribbean is kind of tied for my favorite Disneyland ride, along with the Haunted Mansion. They're almost exchangeable in my head, like, oh, if one of them is closed down or something, I just go to the other one. But this is just fantastic. The cast is great. I love Orlando Bloom because of Lord of the Rings. I love Johnny Depp because of multiple movies. The supporting cast is all great. It's such a fun movie, and sometimes that's what you want a movie to be, is fun. It's not just fun, though. It is very well made as well, and the score is just iconic. Movies have been ripping it off ever since. At number 36 is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is the Criterion 4K that came out recently. I don't even have a 4K player, but I just thought I would get this edition because, you know, if I'm going to upgrade from my DVD, I might as well upgrade it all the way. What some people don't realize is Pee-wee's Big Adventure was before Pee-wee's Playhouse TV show. I believe it's also Tim Burton's first full-length feature film. Next up is Young Frankenstein. I've mentioned in some other videos this was one of my mom's favorite movies, so we watched it a lot when I was growing up. And, you know, I was kind of resistant to it at first because it was so frequent. But after a while, I fell in love with it too. The photos and stuff are in color, even though the film is black and white. So I thought that was kind of cool. Next up, we have another Mel Brooks movie, Robin Hood Men in Tights. This is another one I had recently taken off my list because I wanted to do all physical media, and I realized I didn't have it, but I found it. And I love Carrie Elwes because I love The Princess Bride, as you all know. It's just so funny. It's mostly a send-up of the Errol Flynn Adventures of Robin Hood, but there are definitely references to other Robin Hoods as well, such as the Kevin Costner one. Last time I talked about this movie on camera, I cried, so I'm going to try not to do that this time. But next up is Stand By Me. It's a Gen X staple, really. I think it's kind of universal, though. There's just some stuff that you can relate to in here. And the cast is just stellar. I mean, Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell. Their chemistry together is fantastic. And Kiefer Sutherland, as I mentioned before, kind of was scary in this. I saw him as a scary character in several movies, and it kind of messed me up a little. A fun fact, this was originally going to be called The Body, like the short story by Stephen King that it's based on. But Rob Reiner saw Kiefer Sutherland and River Phoenix practicing the song Stand By Me on the guitar, and he said, wow, I haven't heard that song in years, and it kind of sparked nostalgia in him, and he decided that was perfect, so they named it Stand By Me. Next up is The Jacket, which is kind of a psychological thriller, sci-fi, time travel kind of mashup with Adrien Brody and Keira Knightley. It also features Chris Christopherson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and a fantastic Daniel Craig. I think we're at number 31 now, which is The Silence of the Lambs. Not only is it a great thriller, but it also covers a lot about women in male-dominated fields. It didn't beat you over the head with that point, but it was just kind of subtle, just the struggles Clarice was facing because of her gender and her age. At number 30 is Philadelphia, which is also directed by Jonathan Demme, who made The Silence of the Lambs. This movie blew my mind when it came out because I only knew Tom Hanks as a comedic actor. And I think a lot of people did. And he was just so good, and he deserved that first Oscar he won for this. As I've said before, Denzel Washington should have also gotten one for this. For number 29, we have Jaws. I know people who love Jaws are freaking out that it's only number 29. I'm sorry. I spent several years being so scared of this movie that I didn't quite admit it was one of my favorites. But it definitely is now. The chemistry between the three leads is just so good. Some would argue Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw are not co-leads, but I maintain they are. That scene where they're comparing scars and they start singing, it's just so perfect. For number 28, I have Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is a Wes Anderson directed film based on a Roald Dahl book of the same name, and it is a stop-motion animation film. The voice cast is mind-boggling. George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Jason Schwartzman, Bill Murray, who are kind of staples in the Wes Anderson stable. Everybody's just so good and so funny. Wes Anderson himself even plays a character briefly. And Adrien Brody has like a 30-second voice cameo as a tiny little field mouse. For number 27, we have You Can't Take It With You. I first saw this when I was in college and I was taking a cinema class, and I fell in love with it instantly. It is just so charming, and the actors are so good. And the story is it makes such a fantastic point. And it's a beloved film for me. I would have it higher. I really should have it higher. And rounding out this episode, number 26 is Midnight in Paris. Yes, another Woody Allen film, I'm sorry. And yes, Adrien Brody is also in it. He's only in it for 3 minutes, okay? Give me a break. It stars Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams, and there's a fantastic supporting cast. Michael Sheen, Kathy Bates. Some of the casting in here is so spot on that it's spooky. Particularly the man playing Man Ray in the scene with the surrealists. He looks exactly like him. Thank you for joining me for episode 3 of my top 100 favorite films. or at least the ones I own on physical media. Next up will be the final episode, which is the top 25.